Hey, good morning, Saul. How you doing?
Hey, what's happening, bud? Did you hear our last segment? State your case.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty intense.
Yeah, man. We might have to get you in here as a guest for one of those segments. We'll debate the DH.
Yeah.
What's going on, man? You ready for the 2016 season?
Well, as I'm sitting there looking out my window, it just makes me realize how much even more this season is going to be an absolute just sprint. I was just literally, we were coming on the phone, and I was thinking in my head, how many other sports are there in high school where, you have cancellations due to rain, and, high school sports are already as sprint as it is. So this season is.
Yeah, you got about 6 weeks to figure out what you got.
Yeah, and that's when you lose a good handful of kids from your lineup, it's you have such a short amount of time to find the right pieces to fit in your lineup with your team, with your new kids that you have in.
What's been your challenge as the pitching coach for Egg Harbor Township? I mean, you have Brandon Riggs coming back. Who else you working with and trying to send out there on the mound?
Well, we have Brandon back, and Brandon's been a 3-year guy for us, and he's everything that we preach. We're all about attacking the strike zone. Strikeouts for us are a bonus. Our pitchers understand that their role is to throw strikes. We'd rather give up the 350-foot nuke instead of walking somebody on 4 pitches or going 0-2 to 3-2. So, we have a returning a junior by the name of Drew Hickman. He pitched a lot of meaningful innings for us last year, had some big weekend wins, posted a really low ERA, and he's another guy. He strikes out very little guys, but he may walk 5-6 guys the entire season. So we pride ourselves, on being able to just pound the strike zone and keep our defense on their toes and let them make the plays for us. We have another player by the name of Luke Elwell, who was injured for most of last year. He's returning, and another player who stepped up for us is a senior by the name of Antonio Carabello, who's had a really strong preseason for us on the mound. He's pitched some really good innings against Buna and Shawnee, so we're expecting some big things out of him. And it's an adjustment period for us because we're coming off of the last 5 years of having a Troy Dixon behind the plate, then a Mike LaHood. So right now we're in that process of trying to find our niche with our who's going to be the catcher for us, who's going to be the guy that steps up and handles the pitching staff. And those are some big shoes to fill with those 2 guys that have departed from our program.
Now, I know you're a baseball junkie. How much time do you spend just trying to come up with new teaching techniques and any kind of new little things you can pass on to these high school kids?
I always try to go to the Be All You Can Be Coaches Clinic and just try to see some of the different the people that are there. In the years past, I was really got into Jamie Shoup, who used to be the pitching coach at Florida State. Butch Thompson, who was the pitching coach at Mississippi State. He's now the head coach at Auburn. And this year I got to see the pitching coach from the University of Illinois. So you just take bits and pieces of things that you like, and we have a core set of things that we work on, and each year we just add a little piece here or something that I pick up because in this game you never can stop learning. The moment you get complacent, it's like anything in life. Somebody else stepping up to pass you by.
How much time do you guys spend on the mental side of pitching? I mean, you're talking about 16, 17-year-old kids, and a lot of times they've dominated throughout Little League and freshman and JV ball, and all of a sudden they get up to varsity, and it's a whole different ball game. I mean, you're not going to dominate like you used to when you were 12 or 13, and sometimes it's their first experience in getting knocked around a little bit. And how do you manage the mental side of that and having that mental toughness to stay in it when they're having a bad inning?
There was we had a scrimmage against Gloucester Catholic earlier in the year, and this is Brandon Riggs, and he's going up against Tyler Mondale, and they're battling, and Brandon's starting to think that the umpire is squeezing him a little bit. So, I run out to the mound, I talk to Brandon real fast, and my friend, and this is great right now. This is a situation that, we're in a pressure situation. How are we going to see our way out of the situation? We need to dig deep. And that's a lot of stuff we talk about. It's really tough because these are our kids, we forget. And, we expect so much out of them. And let's face it, baseball, game of failure, and we all know it. Best hitters in baseball, they fail 70% of the time. So it's trying to keep the kids on an even keel and taking the good with the bad and just realizing that there's always something to be learned from every situation. And I try to, both me and Coach Carmichael, we're always talking to the kids whenever we get a chance. This is something, what can we learn from this? So it's just tough. They're kids.
Yep. We're talking with Sean Coyle, pitching coach for the Egg Harbor Township baseball team. Coach, what's the weirdest thing you ever said at a mound visit? You ever just go out there and tell a joke or something?
You wouldn't believe some of the stuff I say out there.
Can't be said on the radio?
Absolutely couldn't be said. My kids would all laugh right now. They'll tell you something. I would get in trouble. It's because when you go out there now, a lot of times I don't want to talk to the kids about, hey, you're flying open. Hey, close your front shoulder off. I mean, that's when we work on that stuff in practice together. I'm going out there to refocus my kid and make sure that, listen, we're out here to have fun. Yeah, we're competing, we're trying to win, but this is, it's still a game. So let's loosen up, let's take their mind off everything. I may tell them to look at a cloud in the sky. Hey, what does that cloud look like up there? That's what we're trying to do. And, the minute you get into breaking down mechanics with them, then that's what they're thinking about. We want them focusing on the next pitch and just living each pitch by each pitch.
Inside secrets from Coach Coyle.
Let them all out.
Coach, you got to be fired up about this season. We just had Kevin Minnick on the line earlier this hour talking about all the talent in South Jersey. And when you look around, I mean, some of the schools these kids are already committed to, St. John's, Maryland, Duke, North Carolina, Rutgers, Penn State. I mean,
yeah.
You can go throughout the almost like Kevin Minnick said, almost every school in South Jersey has a kid who's a big-time recruit, whether it be Division I, lower Division I. I mean, there's some outstanding talent out there. How exciting is that for you as a coach to be able to see all these players and compete against them?
It's a grind. During the school day, if I get my lunch period, I'm like, all right, let me go through my files and see what this team's got on now this year. The Cape Atlantic League is really, really impressive with some of the talent. I heard you guys talking about, everybody talks about Vistoria and Chilari at St. Augustine, but nobody talks about, the the Morganwick kid, Chris Morganwick. He, I mean, that's a kid, he's their number 3 pitcher. He flies on the radar and probably, in my opinion, one of their top hitters. And it's, Ocean City is loaded. Millville is super, super scrappy, returning a lot of these kids with Buddy Kennedy, and they're a very well-coached team. It's every day. You never know. Absegami's reloading this year, but they've got a kid that they can run out there in the Hillshire who can beat anybody on any day. So you can't take anything for granted. It's every day is an absolute grind in this conference. So
what coach is the most fun to hang out with before a game?
I enjoy talking with a lot of them. Coach Carmichael gets a little bit more of an opportunity to talk to some of them. I know the Holy Spirit coaches, Norman and Coach Downey, very well. They're great guys. Guys that are mainly are great. I spent a lot of time at the coaches clinic with the Millville crew, and I had a lot of fun with them. They're a great group of guys, and when we get the chance to go out and see them, or when they come to our place, we spend a good little bit of time talking to them and picking their brain and hearing some funny trout stories. Good to listen to those guys.
You ever try to dial it up a notch during BP? Get back the some of the old fire in the arm?
Oh, well,
are you done for your career?
No, the funny story is that I am the absolute worst batting practice pitcher in the world. Coach Carmichael's really good, so I have a tendency to just bury the ball on the ground. So I ended up researching different techniques for batting practice, and I've actually started to clean it up a lot. So now Coach Carmichael can kind of hang back, and kind of watch everything that's going on, and I can kind of, do the BP for the team. So I felt really bad about how bad I was at batting practice. I could only throw off a mound. So now I changed up some arm action. I'm throwing little darts, and I'm happy that I can help the guys out in other ways.
Good stuff, Coach. Got to let you go. Thanks for taking a few minutes. Good luck to the Eagles this year. We'll be seeing you out there soon.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Have a good weekend, Coach.
You too. Bye-bye.
That was Coach Sean Coyle, pitching coach over at Egg Harbor Township High School.